Imagine waking up one day, looking in the mirror, and seeing something completely unexpected. The face staring back at you isn't yours, it's everyone's. That's right, the entire world has the same exact face, and suddenly you're looking at yourself, but it's the same face that's reflected in every other mirror around the globe. No unique features, no distinguishing characteristics. Everyone, from your best friend to the person sitting next to you on the bus, has the same face. You've just become part of a world where individuality, at least in terms of appearance, no longer exists. How would society change? How would our interactions, self-perception, and relationships be affected if everyone looked identical? Let's dive into this mind-boggling scenario and explore the world where every single person shares the same face. First off, the immediate effect of everyone having the same face would be absolute confusion. Picture this. You walk into a room, and instead of seeing people with a mix of unique faces, there's a sea of identical faces staring back at you. At first, you wouldn't know who's who. You'd bump into someone in the street and say, "Excuse me, I didn't see you there," only to realize it's someone you've known for years. No more walking into a room and immediately spotting your friend across the way because of their distinct look. You wouldn't be able to rely on facial recognition to distinguish people in crowds or even in your own home. That face you see in the mirror every morning? It's everyone's face now, and suddenly everyone's a stranger. Social interactions would get incredibly awkward, and the concept of personal identity would be shattered. You'd have to adjust to a world where the idea of being different or special in terms of appearance no longer exists. But what about self-perception? For most of us, our face is one of the first things we notice about ourselves, and it plays a huge role in how we view our own identity. If everyone had the same face, that sense of individuality would disappear. People who've always felt unique because of their facial features, whether it's a dimple, a freckle, or the shape of their eyes, would suddenly have none of that. How would it affect self-esteem if there were no way to stand out based on appearance? You couldn't look in the mirror and say, "This is me. This is who I am." It would create a strange feeling of collective sameness, where everyone feels the same but is also struggling to hold on to their sense of personal identity. In a world where we all look identical, would we still care as much about how we look? Would we redefine beauty based on things that aren't related to appearance, like personality or intellect? It's hard to imagine a world where we're not comparing ourselves to others based on looks, but without facial differences, maybe we'd find new ways to judge each other. On a social level, the concept of recognition would undergo a major transformation. Relationships, whether romantic, friendly, or professional, would no longer be shaped by how someone looks. It might sound odd, but appearances often play a huge part in initial impressions. Without those visual cues, we'd have to rely entirely on behavior, speech, and body language to understand who people are. Your friend might be the same person as before, but how would you know? Would you start using other distinguishing features, like the way someone speaks or how they walk, to define your connections with others? There's also the question of personal space. Would people get closer to one another because they can no longer rely on visual cues to determine proximity? Or would it lead to more isolation as everyone looks the same, making us more indifferent to each other? It's difficult to predict, but one thing's for sure, our relationships would definitely be altered. Then, think about how this might affect fashion, personal expression, and even the way we present ourselves. We've all grown accustomed to expressing our identity through things like hairstyles, makeup, and clothing. If everyone had the same face, would we turn to clothing and accessories to stand out instead? Fashion would become the ultimate means of differentiating ourselves. People might start wearing more extravagant outfits, colorful accessories, or bold clothing choices to make up for the lack of individuality in their facial features. In this new world, fashion could become more of a statement than ever before, as it would be the only way to express individuality through physical appearance. On the flip side, there could also be a backlash against this. A desire for even more uniformity could emerge, with some people choosing to dress the same way to embrace the idea of collective identity. Society might enter a strange cycle where everyone is trying to balance between blending in and standing out, all while having the exact same face. The impact on culture and entertainment would also be huge. Imagine Hollywood movies, where every actor, no matter their role, has the same face. It would make casting incredibly strange, as audiences wouldn't be able to tell the difference between actors. Every movie star would have the same face, so how would filmmakers distinguish between different characters? Would costumes, wigs, and makeup become the focus of storytelling instead of facial expressions? Similarly, how would we view celebrities or influencers if they didn't stand out visually from the rest of the population? Their charm would have to come from something other than their appearance, like their personality, skills, or even the way they carry themselves. In fact, the very concept of celebrity might start to shift, as it wouldn't be about looks but rather about one's ability to connect with others on a deeper level. At a global level, if everyone had the same face, it could also lead to a major shift in how we view diversity. Many of us take pride in our unique backgrounds, cultures, and the way we look. If everyone suddenly shared the same face, could we still maintain our sense of cultural identity? Or would it lead to a more universal understanding of who we are as humans? People might start focusing more on inner qualities, talents, and the diversity of thought instead of being preoccupied with physical differences. However, it's possible that we might also lose the beauty of cultural expression. No longer would our appearance be a direct reflection of where we come from, which could lead to a loss of pride in our heritage and traditions. In the end, a world where everyone has the same face would be a radically different place. The absence of facial variety would challenge our notions of identity, self-expression, and how we relate to one another. People might find new ways to define themselves, relying less on appearance and more on the intangible aspects of who they are. But as much as we might get used to it, the uniqueness of the human experience would certainly be diminished. What do you think? Could you live in a world where everyone looks the same? Would it make life simpler or a little less exciting? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more wild what-if scenarios here at What If Factory. Until next time, remember, your face is what makes you uniquely you, unless, of course, it's the same as everyone else's.